If I tell my wife, if you don't love me, I'm going to set you on fire, does she have a choice? And also, am I a loving, good husband? Those are two questions I want you to answer.
If you set her on fire, then you never loved her to begin with.
And if God sends us to hell, he never loved us to begin with.
Wrong.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
God does love you.
Let me ask you a question, Eric, and this is a genuine question. Just yes or no. This is not a gotcha. I just genuinely want to know. Do you have anyone in your life that you genuinely love with all your heart?
Yeah.
What would that person have to do for you to condone them being tortured for all eternity?
What would that person have to do?
What choice would they have to make?
What choices would that person have to make for you to be like, you know what, the best thing could happen right now is that you get tortured forever. That would be a really good thing. What would cause you to make that choice, that decision?
Nothing.
Yeah, me too.
You might be more moral than God.
It sounds like you are. It sounds like you're a lot of a better person than God is, because there's not a single thing my wife could possibly do that would make me want her to be hurt. So if God is like, hey, you know what? At the end of the day, the best thing that could happen is that you go to the lake of fire. That doesn't sound like love to me.
It is love because you got a choice.
Yeah, and hey, man, that person that you love in your life, they made a choice too. Is there any choice that they could make?
You a choice.
Is there any choice that a person that you love could make that would make you think that they should be tortured? Any choice at all that they could make that would make you think it's a good thing for them to go to hell?
I can't think of any right now. But
I couldn't either.
like I said before,
I couldn't either. And that's the thing.
It's their choice.
As you said, God already knows what's going to happen. God's in charge of all of it. God made hell, right? He's established this moral system.
Right, but
he is the judge of who goes to hell and who doesn't. Whether we make the choices or not, it's his rules that we're playing by. So what you're saying is he loves us conditionally. He loves us so much that if we make the wrong choices, he thinks it's a good idea for us to be tortured forever. And you also said that you couldn't imagine a single reason to torture anybody that you love. And I agree with you there. There's not a single thing that somebody could do that I would say you should be tortured, no matter who they are, whether I love them or not, but especially if I love them. I think it would be really gross if I were to tell my wife I love you so much, but if you did this thing, I think it would be really good that you got tortured. That'd be pretty awful.
It's totally different.
Why?
It's because it's eternity.
Yeah, if I told my wife you should be
so
tortured for eternity, that is different. It's exponentially more horrible.
It's more horrible to go to heaven than hell.
In my opinion, they're both awful, but that's not what we're talking about.
See, you're making a choice, right? I mean, you could right now accept Jesus in your heart, but you're choosing not to.
Yes,
right?
because any
Actively,
God...
angrily.
Yes, I am making that choice because any God that would set up a system like that is evil. Any God that would have a system like that, where you burn in eternity because you didn't like them, is a monster, is an egotistical maniac. And why on earth would I worship somebody like that?
Because he loves you and he gave you life.
I encourage you to look up the definition of love.
That's fair to say, but just because somebody loves you does not mean that they're going to treat you right.
And if somebody does love you, they probably wouldn't torture you.
Well, God doesn't torture you. And the demons in hell
that God created in the system that he established that he has control over, unless he's not all powerful. But I don't think you want to pull on that thread.
I know God I think God does see what we're going to do in the future. But see, us as humans, we don't know what path we're going to take in the future. You know what I mean? We're just going along as we go.
Which means that God made us for the intent purpose of going to hell. If I knew what was going to happen in the outcome, then me setting that outcome going is on purpose. If I fire a gun at somebody, I know that the outcome is going to be that they die. So I did this, and I know that somebody's going to die over there. I know the outcome. If God makes me into a person knowing that I am going to go to hell, then he did it on purpose. He sent me to hell on purpose.
They could have made the choice to duck.
Sending yourself to hell.
And when we're right back at the beginning.
I think we're in circles.
Yeah.
Go ahead and just watch this video when it comes out on loop, and I think you may experience a little bit of what we're feeling now.
Yeah.
I understand that this is tricky material. It's very emotionally fraught, but if you try to think through piece by piece and follow the logic and the reason rather than the emotion, I think that you'll start to see where we're coming from here.
Yeah. We're going to go ahead and move on, Eric. Thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate you giving your thoughts.